What's going on, Two Knicks Chicks family? Welcome back to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef, and I'm joined by my co-host this evening.
D 21, what's good?
Well, lots been happening with a lot of trade deadline rumors that's been happening throughout the league. And then, the Knicks were actually quite quiet, which I kind of want to hear your thoughts on that. But, let's get right into it and we'll recap the last two games that the Knicks did win. Um, and we'll kick it off with the Houston game. The Knicks did play the Rockets on Monday. They beat them 128 to 118. I thought that was a great revenge game win for the Knicks. And I thought the Knicks were locked in. It was very physical, very fast paced, but I thought the Knicks did a good job keeping up with them and most importantly, beating them, considering Houston had beat us the first time around. Josh Hart finished with 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Precious Achua finished with 7 points, 9 rebounds. Carl Anthony Towns had 22 points. Mikal Bridges had 22 points as well. Jalen Brunson went off. He was huge in the fourth quarter for the Knicks, finished with 42 points, 10 assists. Quiet game for Deuce McBride with 7 points. Cam Payne with 5 points. Knicks finished at 50% from the field goal. They didn't shoot well from the three. They were 6 for 26 at 23%. Free throws, they were 80% at 24 for 30. They got out rebound 50 to 40. They shared the ball pretty well, 24 with 24 assists. They had 5 blocks, 9 steals, only had 11 turnovers. And I think the biggest stat that stands out for me is that the Knicks beat Houston in the points in the paint 80 to 68. What was your thoughts on that game?
Well, definitely, like you said, a revenge game.
Right,
Houston, they're young, athletic, they like to run. And with teams like that, you got to know when to strike. And the Knicks, they struck at the most, and of course they had to get that win. I
right,
mean, they were down, and it was Houston led at 1.12, and they couldn't get those stops. And I think what hurt, Houston, like what was a few things, their turnovers, and the next year they only got like 15 points off of that, but then also they foul a lot. So guess what? Now it caused the Knicks to go to the line. Yeah, they were 24 for 30, but Houston was only 14 for 15. So the Knicks shot, twice as many free throws as them. So and it helps, you know. So that kind of was, causing them the game because you're hacking. Guess what? Now you putting them on the line.
right.
So and the Knicks, they just persevered. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of hell. We didn't get no bench contribution when you look at it. Like
Right.
man, that bench man, and it's like when you see it now, it's like, well, what are we gonna do down in the postseason? And so it's like, okay, but anyway, so we didn't get bench help, but kudos to all the starters and the role players and guys like that really like okay, let's get this and Brunson, we always harp on him about want to take that last shot, but these are the games where you don't mind, but when you forcing it and it's like you like and you off. Like okay, like those are the games that I don't like with him. But when it's games like this, when he was on, so okay, you guess what, feed him. But when you're off, like don't force it. So man, just kudos to him, man. He came in clutch, big time. And again, it was just a nice win because as we alluded and a lot of people know these are the games you got to win against your Rockets, your Cavs, and your Celtics, and hell, Detroit gave us problems, so it's like next, but it's a nice statement win because it's so like the catalyst to okay, for great things to come. So man, it was just refreshing to like watch that game and for them to get the win.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was a great game that proves a lot of what we saw this Knicks team do a lot of last season as well, and the Knicks just finding a way to close out a game strong, closing out games strong in the fourth quarter, especially because the Knicks could be one of those teams that they get sloppy. There's a bunch of turnovers, you know, they're just not locked in. And I think when you see a guy like Jalen Brunson, I think what he did in Houston and what he did in Toronto are those games where you look for Brunson to, I keep saying he has to find a better balance. And I think that those games in particular are good because you see Brunson taking over, being aggressive, taking the shots that need to be taken. And that's what you want to see from him being aggressive and him taking over. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from him at all throughout the entire game. So let me just remove this. So, I think that what I saw him do in Houston was like, you could tell Brunson's very confident. I think it's also refreshing to see because I don't feel like the Knicks really had where me as a fan, as a Knicks fan, I was able to really sit down with confidence. And prior to Brunson coming to this team, feeling like we had that guy who could hit the last second shot. I don't feel like we really had that before.
Oh, prior to Brunson.
Right, is what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
saying.
Yeah.
Like, who was really like clutch and you felt comfortable, like, let him take the shot, he's gonna make it. I feel like we were hit or miss. You know what I mean? Like, who we previously had, maybe they can make that last second shot. But I thought that game, the Knicks played better defense. The ball movement was there. And I agree, the Knicks was down. But again, it's not necessarily how you start, it's how you finish. Because we've seen the Knicks start off games strong. And then, come the third quarter, fourth quarter, they can't find an answer. But I thought that overall, that game was well played by the Knicks, considering the Knicks were outscored the first three quarters by Houston. First quarter 27-25, second quarter 30-27, third quarter 32-26, and then the Knicks dominated in the fourth.
Oh yeah,
46-29. Huge win by the Knicks. And this is one of the teams I wanted to see the Knicks beat, because I don't want to see the Knicks out of a series throughout the regular season. If you play against a team 4 or 5 times and you only could beat them one time, I'm concerned.
oh yeah.
There's a disconnect there that needs to be addressed. And I think that also I'm happy that the Knicks have rest before their next game against Boston on Saturday, because it does help. They play back-to-backs coming up. But overall, I just thought that Houston game was a great game. I mean, you watch Amin Thompson and you're like, damn, why couldn't the Knicks get him? He had a triple-double against the Knicks. He was 11-11 and 25 points. I mean, even Clyde was like, man, this kid, I'm like, he just got it. He got it. But it was a nice rebound win too, considering we dropped the game against the Lakers, which again, I had the Knicks 2-1 in last week's games, and I wasn't sure which one of those games were going to be a trap game, but they rebounded and again got revenge against Houston, considering we struggled against them. Then the Knicks, again, they played back-to-back. So they played Monday against Houston. Then we played Tuesday in Toronto. We beat Toronto again, 121-115.
Yeah, as Wally Zerbiak, we swept them for the series.
Yeah, I saw him bring out the broom in the post-game coverage. Yeah, I saw that. But that also was one of those games where I want to say the second and third quarter, the Raptors was outscoring the Knicks in the quarters. So, I don't know. I didn't think the Knicks were going to lose against Toronto. I thought if they did, it was going to be one of those trap games where maybe the Knicks was having an off night. They was like sluggish, but no, I mean, I really thought that was a really good game. And it was nice and refreshing to see Huck Porty get some freaking minutes. He played 19 minutes. He had 5 rebounds, 6 points, 2 assists.
Yeah, he was very aggressive, man. Like maybe that Houston game, it was maybe kind of nerves or whatever, because he had like 4 fouls and like and nothing. So I think maybe it could be jitters. And that's just it. The more you play a guy like that, the more comfortable he will be on that floor.
Right.
You it's easy for us to say, oh yeah, they should have confidence. No, that's if you're not playing, your confidence can diminish, because
Right.
you know that you can make some type of contribution. You just need that shot, that chance. Because look at Josh. I mean, he's come a long way. From his Lakers days, his being on the Pelicans, he's come along. Tell me, his confidence is not to the roof.
For sure.
So Tibbs gave him a chance and went with him because he know, and Huck will get his chance, but just to see him, that Toronto game, like he man, it was refreshing, because he could make some type a contribution, and the more he play, he'll get better.
Right.
Just hope he don't fall down that rotation. You know, um, when Mitch come back, uh,
Do
yeah.
you feel like Huck Porty's defense was legit solid defense, or was Scotty Barnes off?
No, I think that was good defense on him.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, and that's just it. You put a big help him. No, I think that was legit defense. He played on Scotty, and nice. By the way, you
Yeah.
know, he
Yeah.
did.
I rewatched the tape of him playing defensively on Scotty Barnes, and I have to say I was impressed.
Yep.
He stayed in front of him. He moved his feet. He didn't foul him all quick and fast and get in foul trouble quickly. I think also what he's doing is when he's on a bench, he's watching the game. He's being a student of the game. So this way he's like, okay, if Tibbs does call me, I'm looking at where I need to be on the floor. I'm watching other guys, whether, okay, we played Toronto last time. I didn't get the plan, but I see what they doing. I see what this guy's doing. I know what I need to do when I get out there. So he's staying ready. And I think that's so important. You don't want to get comfortable just because you're sitting on the bench. You never know when, you know, you're not, and clearly he's been getting the playing time over Sims. So staying ready is key, that you never know when Tibbs, and look at Tibbs played him 19 minutes.
Yeah, and like Tibbs saying, and I used to hate that, and I kind of still hated that next man up mentality, because it's like, well, what am I gonna get? What you gonna get?
Right.
Better. So he kind I like stop. He overuses it, but in this case, it was like, okay, his number was called. That's why you gotta stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. And Hulk, he was ready. He was like, oh, like they said, put me in, coach. That was his mantra, and he delivered. Yeah, he'll continue to score offensive. The numbers will come.
Yeah.
The more he play, the better he'll get. And I just hope that again he don't get buried. And I remember when iHeart when he was on, and how Mitch before his injury, how Mitch was like like showing him the nuances, what he saw on the floor by being a spectator. I just hope that he could definitely do that with Hulk. When he's on the
Hmm.
bench, whatever, and when Mitch, whenever he do come back or whatever, he could just just like show him little things, because you know they had a lot in common, Mitch, and iHeart, just being able to being bigs, and you
Yeah.
you feed off of one another, and you learn from each other. So I just hope I wish that for him.
Yeah. I don't see what reason why Mitch won't be able to do that, because now you, like when we had Isaiah Hartenstein, you actually have a chance to comfortably sit there and catch your breath and not like, damn, I know coach Tibbs gonna call me in 3 minutes. I'm gonna have to go back in. And you can actually sit and analyze the game as it's being played. And you bringing that up is actually a really good point, because I'm also wondering, is Cat doing that with him as well? And we've seen Deuce McBride do that with him, and give him some advice and tell him
Mhm.
to keep hustling, stay at it. But I really hope that those bigs are really like in Huck Porty's ear and giving him advice and letting him know, like, you know, whatever it may be on the defensive end, offensively, boxing out, rebounding, whatever it may be. So, you know, it's a learning curve and he's gonna get there, but he has the skill set and you see the potential with Huck Porty, which is
Yes.
even better. I don't when I look at Huck Porty, I don't see a guy that's just running up and down the floor. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna just run up, I'm gonna play defense, I'm gonna go back down and I'm gonna set a screen and then I'm gonna get out the way and then I'm gonna be prepared to grab a rebound. Like, that's what the Knicks don't need. And that's part of the reason why they got rid of Jericho Sims. Because to me, it was like, you know, Jericho had been with the Knicks. He was one of the long-standing, right under Mitch, long-standing tenured Knicks since 2021. And I feel like Jericho, in a way, to his credit, he did enough that showed teams that I think two things that teams looked at him and said, okay, there's potential there. And the little bit that he did at the start of this season showed teams that we could utilize that guy. Like he can, I see the potential in what he's doing there, and a little bit of what he showed at the top of the season showed teams that we can grab this guy. He can be an asset there. And you know, listen, by all means, but he wasn't able to. I don't want to say that he wasn't, but he didn't really capitalize while he was here and take his game to the next level. Like, you know, yeah, he worked with Mike Bibby. Is Mike Bibby the right veteran player he should have been getting coaching from? I love Mike Bibby's game, but for Sims, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I think
bigs.
yeah, exactly. So I think that Jericho, I wanted oh so bad. And here's the thing with Jericho, I wanted to see him step up, even if it wasn't offensively. Like, you remember before, I know you remember, I used to constantly be like, yo, I want to see Mitch develop a move and be able to score. No.
Mitch. Oh, yeah.
I wanted to see Mitch develop a move and used to be like, yo, that's not his game. Let him do what he do. Okay. And I backed off and I said, wow. As I shut up and watched the game more, I saw what Mitch was there to do. And then I said, okay, but I would love to see Sims do that. But we wasn't even getting that. And then people in the chat was like, oh, give him time. He needs 24 games, another 30 more games, another season. Hello, we've been waiting since 2021. We didn't really see. You can't say he didn't get the minutes. He lost his minutes. Why am I even going into this? Because I did a whole segment on Jericho Sims. Let's jump into it since we talking about Sims. The Knicks made a much anticipated move by trading Jericho Sims in a small deal on Wednesday, sending him to Milwaukee for veteran guard DeLeon Wright. We'll talk on Wright more later. Sims, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent this summer. And for those of you who didn't know, he will be. And I mean, clearly, it's no secret that the Knicks have been shopping Sims around for a while now, right? And clearly because he lost his rotation spot with playing with the Knicks. He fell behind Mitchell Robinson, Ihart, Towns, Precious, and Huck Porty. You know, and I say that because it's like, we're not up here bashing a guy. This is facts, actual factual stuff that's happened. Sims was drafted late in the 2021 second round draft pick. He averaged 2.4 points, 3.9 rebounds on 72% shooting over 177 games with the Knicks. But he had offensive struggles and his role became sporadic with the Knicks. I read that a source was saying that he was looking forward to a fresh start, which I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was. Yeah, nobody wants to sit on the bench. Right. But I just don't think he was the answer. And I think we had like a whole segment one time on Jericho Sims because we were both just so frustrated. And again, I think part of that was because we go back to what I was saying, where Jericho was one of those guys who you just saw just running up and down the floor. Yes, he had moments where he gave you rebounds. Yes, he had moments where he was able to get stops. He got better at not jumping off of a hesitation. He was able to stay on his feet. But I don't think that's enough when you compare what you had when you had Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, and one was able to go to the bench, the other was able to come in and hold it down while the other was able to catch their breath. You can't really do that with Sims. We couldn't do that with Sims. And again, maybe with another coach, a different team, Sims may, as you alluded to for Grimes, told me he's been balling.
Yeah.
I said, huh? I didn't know. I haven't kept up with Grimes, but according to you, he's been balling. So I just think that Jericho, I wish him all the best. Um, I always appreciated how he's very in shape. He hits the weight room. The guy is, built like a Mitchell Robinson, but I was hoping and waiting for him to turn the corner and
Yeah.
take the game to the next level. And I think that, again, if you're a real Knicks fan, we've been waiting long enough. We don't have time to, and I got flack for this too, because we don't really have time to take too many guys and redevelop. We don't have time for that. We have to take what we have and add, maybe take away, and keep moving towards contention. So I don't know. We both already saw this coming though. And again, if you're a real true Knicks fan, you knew that this was happening, that the Knicks were shopping Sims around.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad they did this. If you're not going to use the guy, then like let him go. Let him find another home. And in this league, there's a spot for you, and
Mm-hmm.
it just didn't. For whatever reason, it just didn't pan out because he's been here what 5 years, 4 or 5 years. So yeah, it's a fresh start is what he need and the best to him, and for him, and he'll definitely hopefully he'll see elevate possibly elevate his game on another team. Um,
Right.
so yeah, kudos to him.
And shout out to Tori B. Said, I like Jericho. So glad they didn't banish him to a trash team. I agree. He's gonna learn a lot on Milwaukee. If you didn't, they didn't send him off to no scrub team.
Yeah, he could have went
Send
to the
him-
Wizards.
Right. And
I'm
been
just
even
saying.
more miserable. But seriously,
Yeah,
so like he went to a good team where I think he'll be a good fit. So and yeah, I agree. Maybe he can learn from Giannis. That's a great guy to learn from, who can help you take your game to another level.
yeah,
Veterans, you got Dame Dollar on the team. These guys can get in your ear and start helping you with your training, and they'll see what you can potentially give to this team.
hell, even Doc, the coach, he's a former player, so
Right.
he's gonna definitely learn something from him. So he, he'll definitely see improve. I'm hoping he would and elevate his
Yeah,
game.
same. Salute to Eddie C. He said Jericho was offensively challenged, centers in a game, now must score. Yeah, yeah. Unless you can do what a rare player like a Mitchell Robinson can do, and you so good defensively, and you can allow your team to get those second, third, fourth chance opportunities. I mean, man, the Knicks are gonna we're gonna be like, yo, when Mitch comes back. Mitch does that really well. Even if he can't actually physically grab the ball, he somehow could tip it out to a Knicks player out on the perimeter.
Yeah,
And I have to say, shout out to Josh. Josh is not the tallest player, which that's another problem the Knicks have. We have too many short players. It's too many short guys on there. Jalen Brunson, when I look at, I'm like, we look like the same height. I know the TV makes him look shorter, but I'm like, this guy looks like he's like him and Trey Young looks super short. Um, but Josh, when you watch him play, he's snatching rebounds with the big dogs in the paint.
yeah,
And I think part of that is him being hungry. part of that is him wanting to win. And I think the other part of it is that he's like, we don't have a Mitch on here. We don't have an I Heart right here. And he's probably looking at it like Towns is the lone wolf over there, you know, and you got to protect him because the thumb, which he seems to have found his rhythm and footing with his 3-point shot. But yeah, you're going to need Mitchell Robinson. And again, I still stand on what I've been saying. Mitch is not the end all be all answer for the defense because it's going to take the other collective team members on the team to play better defense. And the Knicks have been showing games where, shout out to Steph, she pointed out to me that the Knicks are top 10 in defensive rating and that they have been playing better defense, which I agree they have. I've seen them gradually get better, and I want that to continue to improve, for the remainder of not just the regular season, but into the postseason as well.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the Knicks got DeLeon Wright from Milwaukee. Wright, he's 32. He's a 10-year vet. He's joining his 10th team. That's a lot of teams you played for. 10 teams?
Yeah.
He's played 26 games this season for the Bucks. He's on a guaranteed deal with a specialty on defense as a 6'5" combo guard. And he also previously played with both OG Anunoby and Jalen. OG in Toronto, and he played with Jalen in Dallas. But he has struggled this season with his shot, hitting just 27% of his shots from the field. You like the pickup or no?
Not Billy. I still think we need a wing.
And
Like
he's not the answer anyway.
no,
I don't
definitely.
even see Tibbs playing him.
What was
Unless
that?
he proves me, I don't even see Tibbs playing him. Unless he proves me wrong and Tibbs puts him in a game. Sometimes, okay, two things. Because let's go back to a little bit of this trade with Jericho. The Knicks also did get some what is the word I'm looking for? They got some exchange of cash considerations with this trade, right? Okay, so yeah, that helped them out. On one side, I'll say I'm happy that the Knicks didn't get cornered because remember the rumor was, okay, if teams are going to want Jericho, you know how he works with the Knicks. They're not going to just want him. So I'm surprised the Knicks didn't fold and say, well, we'll give you this guy too and this guy. Don't do that. Have a spine. Put your feet down and say, I'm standing 10 toes down. That's it. So I'll give the Knicks credit for that. And again, I still trust the front office. What I want to know from you is, let me finish what I'm saying. But I don't like the whole you just picked up that random guy who's clearly struggling, and forget the struggling. He's been on 10 teams. Okay, it's like when you go to a job interview, they want to know why you had so many jobs. Do you feel like the Knicks were not aggressive enough, or did you expect the Knicks to be quiet and not make any major moves by the trade deadline?
Well, ah,
Because to me, there's really no one available. So who is the Knicks
well,
really going to make a splash for?
that and also the salary wise, like
Right. And
they
because they
really
kept
don't.
Mitch.
Yeah, they really don't have the money to go out there and pursue like this big or this person that's gonna make a huge difference. Um, so I really wasn't like looking for them to make a trade, and the reason why is because like you didn't really hear a lot of you heard little grumbling about the Lakers was interested in Mitch and it was another team, but
Mhm.
it was like his name wasn't really being thrown out there as like bait per se. So and I guess I saw like okay Leon Rose, like they said, they're standing pat and they're gonna just wait and see what Mitch can do. Um, and so I really wasn't expecting them to move him, because again, it wasn't like he was being like a lot of players was out in the mention, like KD, the Bill, so like he wasn't one of those type of players where his names was like in the forefront. So I was like, okay, well then they're gonna keep Mitch, and I said it all along. I said Mitch is gonna wait until after the deadline, and voila, he's gonna appear. Mitch is like, nah, I ain't even gonna let y'all see what I'm working with. Y'all traded me. So I that was our little running joke. But no, I didn't think that they was gonna trade him for that simple fact that his name was out in the forefront like a lot of the other players were. And I just said, you know what? I think they just gonna just wait it out and see what Mitch is gonna do, you know, when he do come back, and let's see how far he can go. And I think if it don't work out, I think that they're gonna definitely look to move him. Um, Maybe it's part loyalty, because we know how teams are. There's no loyalty, so kudos to Leon for being loyal. I guess so. And just not trading him or whatever. So I didn't think he was gonna get moved, and quite frankly, I'm happy he didn't. Because I really would like to see, um, how that's gonna work with. We saw a sample size with Huck and Cat. How Cat was the four. So we saw like a little small sample size, but I would definitely love to see how that's gonna pan out with when Mitch comes back, and when he's able to get on that floor and give us more minutes than when he's on no when he's not on restricted minutes, and when he's able to run up and down. I would love to see how that's gonna play out. So that's why I'm glad they didn't move him. To be honest with you.
I think, to be honest, the Knicks couldn't really, and I don't mean this in a financial standpoint, I don't think the Knicks really could have chanced it moving Mitch right now. Like, who are going to really be your other options to get in, to bring in? One side of it is the money part, but that was actually available, that would have been of value to this team. Because the way the front office has been moving is that they're not just bringing anybody in on this team now, like the old Knicks used to do when they would just bring anybody here and guys just were like not good. They're not doing that anymore. But I think that we talked about this like 2 episodes ago, where we basically were in agreement that the Knicks were going to keep Mitchell Robinson. I've said this since the start of the season. I think the Knicks are going to have a very close, keen eye on Mitchell Robinson when he comes back. And especially once he gets his footing and gets back in rhythm and he's getting more minutes. And especially to see what he does during the postseason. And again, piggybacking off what you said, they're going to see and determine in the off season what they're going to do as far as keep him or ship him out. So, and I think with him, the main concern that they have is the injuries. If it wasn't for that, this wouldn't even be a conversation, So I do agree with you also that it will be nice to see both him and Cat on the floor at the same time. And then also adding in the mix of Huck Porty on the floor, because Huck Porty has a lot of energy. He's like, he's that gritty, tough, he's not scared, almost like Hartenstein. He didn't care if he got dunked on. He was going to make up for it on the next play. And those are the kind of guys that you need on this team. So I would like to see that mashup of the combination of Towns and Huck Porty, Towns and Mitch on the floor, Mitch and Huck on the floor at the same time. So I want to be able to see that, mix of those guys playing together and see what they do. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But as far as I'm concerned, who the Knicks have right now, I think the question is still, I don't think it's enough. Because kudos to the Knicks, they've been doing it without Mitchell Robinson, right? They proved they can do it last year without Julius Randle. But is it enough? I don't know. And again, I still stand by that pressure still on this team. It's on Tibbs. The Knicks got to get out of the second round. Got to get out of the second round. And I know you still stand 10 toes down that the Knicks could take Cleveland. I
Okay.
think it's going to be a challenge. And it's funny because I saw a couple of people commenting on this on some post earlier, and a lot of Knicks fans were saying that they was like, yo, with Mitchell Robinson back, Cleveland, they was like Mobley and Allen has nothing on the Knicks. And I'm just like, I'm not saying please don't come for me, y'all. I'm not saying that I don't believe in my Knicks, but
No.
this is a different Cleveland team than what we played.
So we're a different team with
Not
Cat
saying that we're not.
and Mitch at the five.
Okay, when we play
Nah,
them again, when we play Cleveland again, because this is what okay, we played on February 21st.
but will Mitch be back though?
No, he won't.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
With
not. But here's the thing though. Are you saying that the Knicks can't beat them unless they have Mitch back?
No, not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when it comes down in the postseason and would Mitch get his foot in and his win, like it's gonna be I believe it's gonna be a different ball game. And if Tiz played them that five and that four, because now the players are moving back to their natural position. You know, OG's not a power forward. Like
Mhm,
he's
that's
not.
true.
You know, Macau, small for yeah, maybe, but like now people get back to their natural positions. I was listening to something on Sirius, and how Sam Mitchell, he was saying with Wiggins how he got traded. Where did Wiggins go? I'm gonna Google it. But where he got traded to, now he gets to play the two. And Sam Mitchell was saying how because before his father, Wiggins' father passed him, they were like really good friends because um, Wiggins used to play like I guess like AU with how because he runs camps, and he
Mhm.
was like saying how I'm so glad that you see that my son is a two. He's not a three or a four. He said because his frame, his body frame, he has a little waist. He doesn't have broad shoulders. So when you asking a player to play out of the natural, yeah, they're gonna play, but when they're not playing their natural, they play so much better at their natural position.
Yeah.
They could give you more production, and things like that. Like we're asking a lot for OG. Yeah, he's supposed to be this defensive specialist and this and that and the third. But if he could go back to his natural position, I think we could probably even maybe see more. Same thing with Macau. So yeah, that's why I say that we will see a big difference. And he like you would say he's not the end all be all, but it will be a big difference.
But can you make those changes and have guys go to their regular positions if you start putting Hukporti in a rotation? Or do you feel like no, you need Mitch to come back in a rotation to make that happen?
No, because we saw a sample size of what Huckporty was able to do. The
Right.
first game, like I said, I think it was just jitters. But that the Toronto game, and the more he played, the better he'll get. So he played the five. Cat moved down to the four, whatever. So and that's even his natural position, the four.
Right.
He was asked to play the five. Yeah, he's not gonna say, "Oh no, I can't play it." You know, yeah, they're professionals, but it'd be nice if so we could get more production out of them. So
Yeah.
that's why I say that.
Listen, I do agree with you that the Knicks are a different looking team. Their strength level goes up when you add Mitchell Robinson to the roster. And again, I gave them praises and that the Knicks have been making things happen without Mitchell Robinson on his team.
Yep.
But they have a pretty this month in March is going to be a interesting, challenging, I should say, schedule for the Knicks. You got Boston on Saturday. Then next week you play the Pacers on Tuesday, back to back game Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday they play Atlanta. And then the week after they play Chicago, who I'm a little annoyed that the Knicks haven't figured out how to beat Chicago.
Oh yeah, for
Like
sure.
What do you mean you can't beat Chicago? Figure it out. That's another team. You gotta. They beat you twice already. Figure it out. And then they play Cleveland on the 21st. So the Knicks, it seems like the next few weeks they have like back-to-back games. So they got Boston this Saturday. Next week they play Indiana on Tuesday. They play Atlanta that Wednesday. And then the following week after that we play Chicago, Cleveland back to back. And then early game, the February 23rd against Boston again. So, I don't want to jump too ahead of the schedule. I was just looking because I wanted to see when we were playing Cleveland. I'm looking at their schedule now. But I don't know. I think the Boston game, I want to see the Knicks give consistency and a stronger effort against Boston. Because the last time we played them, it just looked like an NBA team was playing a high school team.
Well, you know what? In all fairness, they have their chemistry.
That's a good point.
They gel. The cohesiveness. You see it. So you got to realize they're a different team from that first game that they played Boston. Like they're locked in. It's like we locked in for life. So I think we're gonna definitely see a different outcome. With the Knicks on Saturday with Boston. Yeah, Boston. They didn't make any changes, and quite frankly, we didn't either outside of Sims. But Sims was he was a bench guy, so you know yeah, we don't have depth, but just overall, how they've gelled, together. You know, Cat, the thumb is still bothering, but he's seen found his groove, and he's hitting the shots and everything. So, I, yeah, I think it's
But is that enough though? Like, okay, you play Boston this Saturday. You don't have the depth. You don't have the bench. I don't know what's been going on with Deuce McBride. I wish he would enter the chat because he's been very, very quiet as of late. And I'm not concerned. I just need him to, I don't know what's going on. Figure it out, wake up, need a cup of coffee, something. But and same thing what I would say with Payne and Shamit too. I'm not sure what's going on with those three guys. So with that being said, that means that the bulk of the work has to come from the starters, which means they're going to play heavy minutes again against Boston, unless we just so happen to get great contributions from a combo of let's just say Deuce and Precious, and Precious has been playing well. That's why I didn't include him. But I'm just saying if you can get a combination of two guys who can step up and give you something offensively and defensively, that would help. But I feel like that game is going to fall heavily on the starters. So you're going to need a lot from Josh. And then you don't have OG. So yeah, they won those last two games without OG. I don't know what's the timeline on OG coming back.
Yeah, still in here.
So, you know, and I think that like we were saying with OG, if he can play at least like 65 games, then we'll be happy with that. So I don't know. I know there's some Knicks fans who still feel like, you know, us and a lot of other people will get on Mitch for being injury prone, but they go, well, what about OG? I'm like, yeah, but I feel like OG is gonna give you more games than Mitchell Robinson. But don't shoot the messenger. Okay, I'm just this is and I'm sure that that's accurate, at least since he's been a Knick. But I feel like again because I forgot just that fast, they don't have OG. So now you've been rocking with Precious. You're gonna play Huck Porty. I hope Tibbs plays Huck Porty. That means the bulk is gonna majority fall on the starters. And the biggest thing with the Knicks is not their scoring. When you play in a team like Boston, They play unselfish basketball, so they make the extra pass. And now they space the floor so well. And when you watch the Knicks stand when the Knicks are playing defense, it almost looks like the Knicks are playing a zone, but they're not. They have two guys on each end of the free throw line, maybe a little bit up from the free throw line. There's the two guys at the right near where if you're making a layup close to the basket, basically in the paint area. And this is why teams are able to knock down the three. Because they're playing more like help defense instead of man-to-man defense. You're too far away. Why are you that far away? And your guy is out there. Now he goes slip into the basket, or you don't know where he went. Now you got to go play catch up. And this is how teams are able to get the easy bounce pass and an easy layup on the Knicks. But with Boston, that's my biggest concern, is that the perimeter is going to be wide open and the Knicks are not able to stop them from knocking. Because once they start knocking down threes, it just doesn't stop. They just keep knocking them down. So how do the Knicks stop Boston from knocking down the threes and driving to the basket like it's a layup line, a pregame layup line? Between Brown, Tatum, they just shake and bake, create a little space, and next thing you know, they're driving to the basket. How do you stop that? If the Knicks, man-to-man defense doesn't really exist with this team. Defense doesn't really exist at times. You're going to have plenty of rest. You don't play till Saturday at night. So how does this Knicks team, like, what are the keys to stop Boston? How do you stop them?
Well, like you said, you giving them too much space. You gotta like pressure them. Um, yeah, that's a tough one because, like you said, how hopefully Tibbs will switch it up because what they got creamed that when they played them, like you can't give these guys an ounce. You got to breathe on their necks, really, because if not, they're gonna make you pay. And that's what Boston do. They shoot them threes at like they just fire them off, man. And that's what that's their bread and butter for the most part. I think the Knicks they gotta like I said, breathe on their necks because you can't leave them open. Definitely not out in that perimeter. You know, KP's he's gonna live out there. He don't get a lot of his points in the paint. Not really. Like so, unfortunately, you that's what you have to do. We don't know the status of OG. Um, and not that he's the end all be all, but it helps. Precious gave some good solid minutes and 17 for that last game, but Boston's a whole different animal.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I think it's a good test because even last season we had issues against Boston. We couldn't figure out a way to beat them. I think with the Knicks met up with them and played them like 4 or 5 times and struggled against them, badly. Eddie said we can beat Chicago and Atlanta. Boston will be tough. Yeah. The Knicks, listen, the Knicks can be they've proven they could beat Atlanta. They haven't proven that they could beat Chicago yet. Yeah, the Knicks should be beating Chicago, but for some reason, Kobe White, he has his way against the Knicks. The last two matchups, Kobe went off. Hair's not even braided, and he's going off. You letting a man with a big afro ponytail just do whatever he want to do, and y'all not even guarding him. Come on now. Come on. Salute Sterling Smith said Mitch has not played at all yet. OG has been here. Yeah, exactly my point. People like to compare injury versus injury player, but OG has been here. And with that OG foot injury, that was on him. Because LeBron, they were nowhere near him. He just stepped down and he was in pain and So Space Ghost Salute said McCall or Achua on Tatum can't stop him, but maybe limit his chances. I would probably go McCall because I don't think Precious will be able to keep up with Tatum.
Yeah, his quickness.
His
Yeah.
quickness, and he's gonna shake and bake and just get him off of him every time. You
Hmm.
can't. Maybe you put Precious on Porzingis at times. Maybe because he, the strength, and make him work for his shots and stay on him. But again, you can't fall. He can't fall for the hezzies where Porzingis may make it look like he's gonna, shoot, and then he drive and pulls back and shoots a three. So yeah, and I don't know who do you put on Brown. So I don't know. I think that like I said, the Knicks have enough time to figure it out and watch film. They still have today, they have tomorrow, and they don't play on Saturday till what, 8:30? I think the game is.
Yep, they get some shoot around there.
Yeah. And then they don't play again till Tuesday. No, lies. Then they play, yeah, then they don't play again till Tuesday. So, which would be another back to back Tuesday and then again Wednesday. So, yeah, I think that the Knicks just, my keys for the game against Boston is you got to come out with high energy. You got to control the pace. You have to control the pace because they're going to look to run, limit the turnovers. You got to be aggressive on the boards as well and be physical with Boston. Don't allow things to be so easy for them to just score it. I don't want to watch the game and I feel like they toying with the Knicks. Like, yo, they can't beat us. Because I feel like that's how they are. They have this confidence like, yo, they can't beat us. So I want to see the Knicks get stops, get transitional stops. You got to guard the perimeter, limit them shooting lights out from beyond the arc. And I want to see the Knicks play unselfish ball, make the defense scramble and have to figure out who's going to get the ball next. And the Knicks are very successful. I always say this when guys are cutting to the basket and whoever has the ball finds them, it works every time. So if they're smart, they'll utilize that against Boston. And you can have Josh cutting. I keep saying for Deuce McBride to cut more. Campaign, Shamit. You don't gotta wait for the ball to be touch your fingertips for you to feel like you need to chuck up a shot. You can cut to the basket. It's free. Even if you're cutting as a decoy to make the defense see, okay, there's a Knicks player coming in the paint. It does something. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Space Ghost said Dallas is presently giving Boston a business, but it's early. Yeah, I don't want to count Boston out. I've seen teams be up on them, and all of a sudden you look in the fourth quarter, the game is close again because they start shooting lights out. So, you know, right now the Knicks are still sitting in third. They're right behind Boston. Boston's sitting at 2 at 36 and 15. The Knicks are in third at 34th and 17. 34 and 17. And then surprisingly, because Evilox didn't even notice, I was telling her the other day, Indiana shot up to fourth. The Knicks have a nice margin ahead of them. Indiana sitting in fourth at 28 and 21. The Knicks are 34 and 17. But like I always say, especially after All-Star breaks, teams start to gel more, start to get locked in. They go on runs. So teams that you may see that are in sixth, seventh, eighth, Orlando's in eighth. They're in eighth. Detroit's in seventh. That's how you know they got better. They used to always be sitting at 12, 13, 14. They're in seventh. Miami's in sixth. Milwaukee's in fifth. I don't want the Knicks to get comfortable. I'm not going to get comfortable. I don't want the Knicks really slipping past third. Maybe if you go to fourth, but I don't even want them going there. So the consistency is the name of the game. Defense is the name of the game. And yeah, just stay in the course, which the Knicks tend to do and tend to get better as the season goes along. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the the remainder of this season with the Knicks. Salute to Kareem Grant for joining us as always.
Salute.
And yeah, that's the whole gist of the trade rumors deadlines with
We have faith.
Knicks.
I
You say you have faith in the Knicks for Boston?
Yeah, and just overall, just Mitch coming back, and um, yeah, like I said, 'cause I would definitely like to see how that's going to shape up, for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and going back to what we said earlier, Leon and the gang banking on Mitchell coming back healthy and ready and prepared to do something, with the rest of his teammates. So I'll be looking forward to, because I haven't heard any updates on the timeline of Mitch. I thought he was just taking a little bit of physical contact the last I read,
Mhm.
and that was that. So I already knew Mitchell Robinson wasn't coming back in January, and I don't think he's coming back this month either.
Yeah,
The way it's looking, he may not be back till about April,
nah, he'll probably come back in March.
like late March, early April. I guess this month just started, so maybe you right. Maybe they'll start like getting him into the groove of like more physical practices or whatever for this month. But I don't know. I'm saying mid to late March. I don't really see it. It's definitely not happening this month because if he hasn't even started practicing yet, mm-mm. Salute old head. Said salute lady and diva. He
Salute.
said Knicks have one power forward on the roster. Precious. Yeah. Listen, Precious has been holding it down. He stepped up. He's getting the minutes. He's also playing so that way he can get the bag like he wants to get for next season. He's watched other guys do it and he knows he can do it. And he's an asset here. I think what Precious Achua does is a lot of what you don't see on the stats. The
Yeah,
stats. He's active hands, active feet. And actually, I'm sure he's probably a little like, damn, because his buddy OG, they play really well together. If you notice, they find each other a lot. Like OG will make sure he gets the ball and vice versa. They play very well together. So I like what Precious is doing. I like what he's doing defensively. I like what he's doing offensively. Um, you know, and I'm looking forward to what he does against Boston as well. I don't want him looking lost out there. I don't want anyone looking lost.
well, and I would I'm curious to see if he's going to play Huck. See if he's going to play him.
I feel like he needs to.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you have to play him because you can't run Towns into the ground. You can't, or rather, leave it up to Towns and Precious to try to. You got to play Huck Porty. Like you said, allow him to keep playing to get, you know what I mean, get acclimated with playing with the starters and different rotations in the game. You got to let him
Yeah,
play. Let him make the mistakes. Let him continue to grow. He's not going to learn by sitting on the bench, like you said. It's true. If you sit him on the bench, he's never going to learn. Give him the minutes. He'll go out there. You never know what he may do on Saturday.
yeah,
Maybe like, well, see, I'm glad Tibbs played him and extended that hand of trust to Huck Porty. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me tonight for the Knicks. Um, I wasn't expecting the Knicks to be loud and do anything, that would have had the Knicks community going crazy. I knew it was going to be a very quiet, because again, I knew they were going to keep Mitchell Robinson.
yeah.
So Nick Yak Salute said, "Hi ladies, did you see the play Huck Porty set a pick at 3 point line for a Brunson missed three, and Huck Porty grabbed the rebound in traffic under the boards, almost out of bounds? Yeah, I did
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, it's the hustle. He's a hustle player. He's gritty. He's not afraid to block shots, grab rebounds. He's
Yeah.
gonna, you know what I mean? Like that's what I like about him. He not afraid to get scrappy. He gotta dive into the stands 5 rows in. He's gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like this guy's from the UK. You know we watch a lot of those Top Boy and a bunch of they don't bloody play around there.
And then he was played. He's
He has the experience, right? The resume to back it up, but you would never know if he doesn't get the opportunity. So shout out to Huck Porty. I've been vouching for him. I also want to see Kolek get some minutes. You gotta let him play. Kolek is another player with you see the full potential with him if he's given the minutes. When I see Kolek, I don't just see G League good. I see NBA good. Lots to learn, lots more to grow. But again, keeping him on the bench, and I'm not saying play him every night, but he's been sitting on the bench a lot lately.
it serves no purpose.
Right. Like the guys getting those top and junior minutes. 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here with top and junior and Ryan. Come on. Stop playing in his face and give him some minutes. Kolek. And I saw the other guy signed a 10-day contract with Sixers. Chuma. Somebody
Oh,
mentioned him earlier in the chat. I can't
yeah.
remember who that was.
Mhm.
I read earlier he signed a 10-day contract with the Sixers. Did you see that?
No, but what's it? We got a funny name. I can't even pronounce his name, so
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to botch it up.
So I'm like, because a lot of people I've been seeing on our lives, they've been saying, "Oh, the Knicks should bring him up," and I'm like, "Well, I don't know how that's gonna happen because he just signed a 10-day contract with the Sixers." So I don't know. I don't know. I think that we need to just work with what we have right now, and then at the end of the season, I still have the Knicks winning at least. I would like at least 55 wins, but they can give you 52, 53 wins. I'll be happy.
I'm gonna go between 52 and 54.
Yeah, Okiki.
Yo, Kiki, yeah.
Yeah, he signed a 10-day with the Sixers. Old has said, "Why does Matt Ryan have a uniform? He should be bought out." Yeah. Matt Ryan pissed me off the other day. It was about 4 games ago. About 4 games ago. Could have been the Lakers game. He was in the game and literally watched players go into the paint and then turned around and like had to wipe off his nose. And I was like, that's why he doesn't get any minutes. I was like, yo, this guy can't be for real. You can't be for real. Um, but yeah, I want to see Kolek also get some minutes as well. Because I feel like Kolek to me, when I see him, his game kind of reminds me of like, I don't want to say per se exactly to a T, but I feel like he can be and I don't even know,
For,
was it McConnell?
yeah,
That's
from Pacers.
TJ McConnell.
Hmm.
I feel like Kolek can give us that spark off the bench, that energy off the bench, like TJ McConnell on Indiana. He was killing the Knicks. He was like a burst of energy when he came in the playoffs. No one could stop him. He was driving to the basket. And I remember saying to you, that's what I want to see from I was gonna say Mitchell Robinson from Deuce. Like Deuce worked on his shot for sure. I see the confidence. Him and Josh Hart worked on their shots a lot better this season with the shooting. But I feel like Deuce, to me, he don't capitalize on his speed enough. Like, I want to see him use his speed and drive to the basket and get the easy bucket. Like Deuce he don't always shoot behind the arc. He can bring it in some as well and he can knock it down, but you got to add other weapons, other moves under your belt. You know what I mean? And again, when we was in that round 2, no one could stop TJ McConnell. And he was doing the simplest moves against the Knicks.
Yep.
Part of that was because the Knicks were very winded. It was a man down situation. Guys were getting hurt. But he was just driving. He was stealing the ball from guys. I was like, I need to see that from Deuce. But okay, if Deuce is not going to do that, this is why I don't want to see you. Don't keep Kolek parked on that bench. Allow him to get minutes gradually here and there, because you never know what he can do for you. I'm not saying he'll be a savior, but he can be an additional spark to the bench. If maybe you're not getting it from Cam, if maybe you're not getting it from, you haven't gotten anything really from Shamit, but so you're not just worried. It's not rather just falling on Precious and Deuce to make something happen. You have another guy who can come in and make something happen. He has great court vision. He can shoot the 3. He can drive to the basket. So we'll see. Nick Yak said, Tom plays our best 9 players, and best 9 is starters with McBride, Precious, Huckporty, and Mitch. Absolutely big team. Can't wait after playing small. Yeah. The Knicks definitely look way too small, way too short. We need taller guys on this team anyway. Salute Humberto de la Ois. He said, I seriously see this team win 60 games this year. Yeah, I think that was my number. Wasn't it 60?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because everybody said they think I'm crazy. Why can't they win 60? Let's not have low expectations as a Knicks fan community.
Okay, I'm up it to 60. Okay, 58. I'm going. That's my highest bid.
I mean, you would keep it at 55, but like if they already won 50 last year, like let's not go 52. Come on now. Let's have this team go further than what they did last year. And I'm not saying that they're not, but like they're more than capable of winning more than 52 games this season. 20 more games, you have 54 wins. Right? Are they 34 or 36 wins?
34 right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you. Humberto. 60 game win. Why not? That was my original number. And then I think I lowered it to 58. But if the Knicks keep on the path that they're on, they stay in third, they finish off the regular season strong. I think now it's like now you got to shift into, okay, we got to take it up a level for round 1 and round 2. 30 games from playoffs, Tom isn't playing all these players with Huckporty and Mitch entering the rotation. I mean, listen, you never know. If someone gets injured, God forbid. This is why guys have to, you stay ready, but this is why you want to play them. We're at that halfway mark. You got to start playing some of these other guys. Huckporty, Kolek. You got to play them. You never know who you may have to utilize. And this way they're acclimated with playing with Bridges, Brunson, Towns, OG, so that they're not coming in and they're the guy trying to figure out, okay, I'm trying to fit in with them. Rather, they're like, okay, I'm comfortable playing with them. I played with this group of guys already, and not just in practice, in real live game situations. I agree. Tom is going to stick to his 8-9 man rotation, but you have to play guys like Huckporty. You got to play guys like Kolek. You got to give them the time and not wait till, okay, well, Now, we in dire need. I need you to play now. Nah, don't keep them park on the bench. They're not cheerleaders. But yeah, that's all for me today. Shout out to the chat for you guys joining us. As always, I'll try to get some of the Queen's Court crew to join me on the show because I know Queen Steph herself is on vacation. I'm trying to be like Steph. She always on a vacation.
Oh, yeah, where
She's in
she?
Ghana.
Yeah, Ghana. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe for 2 weeks. So yeah. So I'll speak to Jeff, Ajay, Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises. And yeah, we'll see about getting on some shows so you guys can, and Jarrell as well. Shout out to Jarrell, and see if we can get some shows going as well. Shout out to Nostalgic Nick, Space Ghost, Tori B, Dorcosaurus Rest. What's up? I didn't even know he was here. Wonder Woman, salute to you as well. Lonnie Meeks. Lonnie said Randall would take that last shot, but you couldn't. You must have been reading my mind. I didn't even want to say it because I knew y'all knew who I meant. It was Randall who couldn't hit that damn last shot. Eddie C, always rocking with us. Sterling Smith, salute to you as well. Rondu, 1973, salute to you, Rondu. Always showing love. Juan B, told y'all to get those likes up. Exactly. Kareem Grant, always showing love. Nick Yak, Old Head, Robert Woodard, and Humberto de la Ois been rocking with us too lately. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back on. I'll probably do a show before because the Knicks, yeah, they play. So maybe tomorrow if I could get some people to join me, which that's not hard to do. People always down to talk about the Knicks, but we could do a show and then a pregame before Boston, and also get some more insight on the trade rumors because we didn't really go deep into the whole Lakers trade and Dallas and just it's just been so much happening. I think this is like, and it's so crazy too because guys who got voted into the All-Star and now they're on different teams. I just think it's so hilarious. I was reading that PJ Tucker got traded like 6 times.
yeah. He was
Yeah.
in Miami, and then they traded him. He was part of a package deal, and yeah,
Yeah, he said he hopes he stays where he's at. He's tired of going from team to team. Like,
and he hasn't played,
hearing that he's been traded.
and he hasn't played not once this season.
I know. Well,
Yeah,
that's why he keeps getting traded that many times. Yeah. The NBA is definitely on fire. Listen, I guess that WNBA energy trickled over to the NBA. When they was firing all the coaches in the WNBA
yeah,
this
yeah.
fall, yeah, that energy trickled over here. They're not playing around. So, yeah. And I feel like we need to do a whole show on that because the WNBA trade line was bananas. But our team didn't make a move like the Knicks. They're gonna rock. They're gonna try to repeat and run it back. So we'll see. But yeah, shout out to everybody. Have a great day tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Have a great Friday, and yeah, look out for the next show. I may do something with some people tomorrow, so look out for that. Turn on your notifications. Hit that like button. Show some love. Hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll see you guys either tomorrow or maybe Saturday before the Knicks play Boston. Peace, everybody.